Hello garden friends, and welcome back to my channel, DK's Garden Oasis. I am Debbie. I'm a master gardener in Zone 5B. So I went to visit some family a couple weeks ago and I came back with a little bit of a stomach virus that pretty much took me out for a little while. So I'm starting to feel a little better now, and I'm getting back to doing my videos now. So in this video I will be talking about digging and storing my dahlia tubers. Before I had left, I did cut down the tubers and store them temporarily. And today what I'm going to be doing is showing you some different methods that I decided to try. Since this is my first year, I'm going to do a few different methods and see which one is the best for me in my zone. I've been researching online and there's a lot out there as far as how to store your dahlias. Stay till the end where I share a garden tip about your ornamental grasses. And also at the end I'll be sharing my beautiful dahlias that I had in my patch this year. So like I said, this was the first year that I grew dahlias. I have a little patch. Last year I grew sunflowers. That was a huge success. And then this year I decided to grow dahlias. They are labor intensive, a lot more than the sunflowers were, and more costly. But I just thought I'd give it a try, and quite a few of them were absolutely beautiful. This year I bought all my tubers from Swan Dahlias. There are over 42 species of dahlias and innumerable hybrids. And this year what I did is I thought I would buy one from each dahlia form. Some did better than others, and I'll post that video above of when I planted my dahlias and the different types. So make sure you check that out. And on this video I'm going to be just focusing on digging and storing your dahlias. Dahlias are winter hardy, which means you can keep them in the ground in zones 8 to 11. But in zones 3 through 7, they are treated as annuals, and you either need to just leave them in the ground and grow more the next year or dig them up and replant in the spring. Dahlias may survive in zone 7 if you have a mild winter, but you have to make sure that they are well drained and thickly mulched. In my zone 5B, I need to either leave them in the ground and treat them as annuals or dig them up. And I'm going to be digging, I dug them up this year. And these are the steps to overwintering your dahlia tubers. Number 1, label. Make sure you label all of your dahlias before you store them, as once they have been cut back, they are very difficult to tell which one is which. Next is to cut back. After the first frost, my dahlias turned black and I knew that it was time to cut them down. You cut them about 4 inches so that make sure you have enough to grab a hold of to pull those out of the ground. And if possible, try to wait a week before digging. This gives the tubers a chance to enter dormancy. I didn't wait a week. What I did was I cut them back, and the next day I did dig those up. I was going out of town. I didn't know what the weather was going to be like. And I'm glad I did, as I wouldn't have been able to take care of those since I was sick for a week after I got home. Next would be to dig. Start digging with a pitchfork or a potato fork around 10 to 12 inches or larger depending on your dahlia stalk. I did wash off most of my clumps best I could since they were pretty muddy, but you could just leave the clumps as is. Next year I think I will try to do that, try to get just the majority of the dirt off and leave the dirt on there. They say that it protects them a little better, and they are fragile after you wash them. The tubers could crack off. This year though I did wash them, so we'll see how they do. Once you dig those up, try to dry those for at least a day or two in a protected spot like a garage or basement to let them dry. This will encourage the skins to toughen up before storage. You can divide them right away in the fall, but I am choosing to wait until the spring to see if I can see the eyes on them a little better. And that really depends on your time and storage. This next step is where it gets pretty variable, and there is a lot of different methods. I'm going to try a few and see which one works best for my zone, air, and storage. Temperature and humidity are critical for winter storage of your tubers. Next, you want to pack them. Tubers can be stored in plastic bags, paper bags, boxes, or placed into crates with sand, wood shavings, vermiculite, or peat moss. Storing. Tubers should be stored in a cool, dark place between 45 and 50 degrees. Something like a unheated basement, check monthly to make sure your tubers, they're not too wet, rotting, or too dry, or shriveling or wrinkling. Adjust accordingly. So let me show you a little video of us digging up a tuber in my dahlia patch. Okay, we're going to be digging up the dahlias right now. We dug up one, and the ground's a little bit wet, so that makes it slightly easier. And this is our first pile that we got. So what I'll do is, after we dig these all up, I will clean them, and then I'll store them in the garage for overnight to dry, and then I will store them. So he's just going around with a pitchfork, making sure that he doesn't jab the tubers, and I'll go on the other side. Okay, and it looks like we got the main tuber and maybe 4 more, looks like. Yeah, okay. So we're going to continue that for all of these over here. I think I've got about 30 of them here. So, show you what it looks like when we're done. Now I'm going to show you some of the methods that I did for storing my dahlias. Okay, so I'm outside. I had put these away in these little cardboard boxes a couple weeks ago, and I'm just checking them to see how they're doing. So what I used is I use this peat moss and vermiculite in one of these cardboard boxes, and then I used this aspen bedding. It's like for your little like rabbits bedding, hamsters. That's what I bought for that. It's just some wood shavings, and so I did both of those. And so this has been a couple weeks now. So let's see how they're doing. So this one is in the peat moss, and this one is the Kawasaki. So how I labeled it is I got some paint sticks, and then Swan Island gives you these tags, which is awesome. And then I stapled it to it and put it right alongside the stalk. And now I just tied it with some twine. And so these have been in there for 2 weeks, and they look really pretty good. No shriveling, wrinkling. It has some vermiculite on it. I left the little roots on it. And I believe this is the mother tuber. So yeah, so that's all of them in this crate. And then in this crate, I did the wood shavings, and this one is the D. Sorrentini. This one was a great producer, so I'm glad this one has quite a few tubers. But it has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tubers. And this I put in the aspen bedding. And then finally, the last one, I had some seeds from Floret Flowers, and I just wrapped each of these tubers in plastic, and we'll see how they do in plastic as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check all these right now, see how they're doing, give them a little spritz of water, make sure they stay damp. And then in about a month, I'll check them and make sure they're doing well. And that is how I'm going to be storing my tuber. So what I'm going to be doing is putting it against this brick wall right here. I think this is the north side of the house. And then I'm just going to be putting this paper over it so that it can still have ventilation. And that will be it. I hope these demos of me digging up and storing my dahlias were informative to you if you are looking to store your dahlias for winter storage. Now I'd like to share a few of my dahlias from my dahlia patch. next year I did order more dahlias from Swan Island, mainly cut flower dahlias. I'm not sure where I'm going to be growing them next year, as the patch, I like to switch it up every year and grow something different. Next year I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing zinnias in the patch or snapdragons. So make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell for those future videos. Make sure you hit the like and comment below your favorite dahlias. In my next video, I will be planting my amaryllis and also broadcasting my milkweed seeds in my garden. I will also be probably putting some in my fridge so that I can plant those in the winter in my milk jugs, and I will be showing you in future videos how I do that. Now I'd like to share a garden tip for your ornamental grasses. Thanks for watching and happy gardening. Bye-bye.